let's go back to Russia. Donald Trump Jr. was asked this week if he met with anyone else from Russia. This is his answer. Take a listen.
I've probably met with other people from Russia, but certainly
not
in the context of a formalized meeting or anything like that, because why would I?
Don Jr. saying, I've probably met with other people from Russia. What other meetings or communications with Russians have not been disclosed yet?
None that I know of, but I represent the President of the United States. But Donald Trump Jr. said not in the context of formal meetings. He said he may have met with Russian people, as a lot of people meet with Russian people, and so that's not unusual. But he also said that
back in March, he said that there were no meetings at all in the auspices of the campaign. Now we know that's not to be true. That's not true.
I thought about that because you and I talked about that the other day on your weekday broadcast. I thought about that, and I go back to and look at, Jake, in the context of a meeting and the meetings and the series of meetings that were taking place during the campaigns. There were dozens of meetings every day, hundreds of meetings every week. This meeting lasted, what, they're saying 15 minutes? It was short, nothing was produced, and it never went any further, and so it wasn't ever discussed again. But let me say one thing that's important here. The president, and this has been uncontroverted, was not aware of the meeting and did not attend the meeting. So I want to be clear on that. But with regard to Donald Trump Jr. did say he may have met with other Russian people, but not in the context of a formal meeting. So,
but you don't know who they are. We now know that there were at least 8 people in that meeting, including a Russian-American lobbyist with alleged ties to Russian intelligence. Just the latest in what Trey Gowdy, not exactly a leader of the resistance, is calling the drip, drip, drip of information about this controversy. What other details about this meeting have not been disclosed?
Well, I want to say again that I represent the president, and Donald Trump Jr. said he disclosed everything about the meeting, but I represent, I'm one of the counsel for the President of the United States who was not involved in the meeting and not aware of the meeting. So from our perspective, my answer stands, and that is the president was not engaged in this, was not aware of it. Donald Trump Jr. made statements about that this was everything. He said that on the air on Sean Hannity's broadcast, and I think it speaks for itself.